a heavy hand, a simple band of gold. We were solid back then. Even the coffee felt the mountain coming before we did. She looked so peaceful. I wanted that flight to last forever. Then the sun set fire to the Rockies. Red light, the first warning of a cold death. A pilot's struggle is written in the tension of his tendons. She woke up with the sun in her eyes. It was the last time she smiled like that. Gravity shifted. The world tipped. The warmth died. The sterile white of the end took over. The engine coughed its last breath of black smoke against the blue. The earth rose up to meet us, a wall of granite and ice. I held her hand. I thought if I gripped hard enough, I could keep her on this side of the living. Sweat turns to ice the moment the air decides it's done with you. Numbers spinning down to zero. Yellow masks swaying like ghosts in the cabin. She was screaming, but the wind stole her voice before I could hear it. The pines reached out and tore a wing away in a spray of green. The propeller snapped off, spinning into the abyss. Then the glass shattered, and the blizzard moved in. A single red berry, a gift we'd never get to give. I closed my eyes and let the world turn white. Everything shattered. 4:12 p.m. 12,000 feet up. A slow, heavy beat. My heart, or the mountains? I woke up to a tilted world made of twisted metal. A snowflake landed on my eyelash. It didn't melt. That's when I knew. The engine was bleeding steam into the drifts. I stood up, leaking feathers like a broken bird. Then I saw her, Elena, hanging upside down in the wreckage, frozen blood on her temple. She looked like a statue. My hands were trembling, but I had to reach her. The click of that buckle was the only mercy we had left. We were just a silver scrap in a vast desert of white. The pilot's seat was empty. The wind owned it now. A trail of our lives was scattered for half a mile up the ridge. I rubbed her hands. Skin on skin felt like sandpaper. She gasped, her breath a thick ghost in the air. We leaned together. A moment of silence louder than the crash. The shadows grew long and blue as the sun dipped away. The first night began. The frost started its slow crawl across the metal fuselage. I tore up the floor carpet just to keep the wind out. A lighter is useless when the spark is too cold to catch. First-class blankets. They don't mean much when the air is sub-zero. No service. 4%. Just a plastic brick in my hand. I used a shard of glass to cut us extra insulation. Survival is an ugly tailor. The wind shook 5 tons of metal like it was a child's toy. 2 flares. 2 chances to be seen. My toes were turning waxy, the color of a candle. She took my feet and gave me her own heat. The moon was so bright it felt like an interrogation. I could see our lives leaking out into the air. A summer beach. A different life. A lifetime ago. I couldn't even touch the photo without staining it. The morning sun was a blade of light to the eyes. Duct tape goggles. A narrow view of a hard world. The snow was waist deep. I went down before I even started. I found the pilot. He didn't make it 50 yards. Forgive me, but I need this coat more than you do. The zipper sounded like a scream in the dead quiet. A single tin of peanuts. Our last feast. I split one nut in half. A kingdom for a calorie. We waited for the sun to give us a drink from the aluminum. A drop of water. Pure gold in the light. A speck in the distance. Hope is a tiny thing. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. The trigger pull felt heavy, a red streak against a blinding sky, swallowed by the glare. They didn't see. They just kept flying. I fell. The weight of the world was finally too much. She dragged herself out. She was stronger than I ever was. 3,000 feet down to the green. Jack looked at the wreckage, then the trees. We couldn't stay. We made a sled out of the plane's skin, tying knots with electrical wire. Water, nuts, the map, our whole world on a piece of metal. Two dots starting their descent into the vertical white. Every step felt like sinking into concrete. The white sedan of my dreams was gone. Now, there was only the abyss. Mile 1. Sweat froze on my nose before it could even fall. Every rock was a blow to her broken body. My face was a mask of ice and sun-parched skin. The wolves were watching from the ridge. Or maybe it was just the shadows. I saw a diner in the drifts. Neon blinking in the snow. My pupils opened wide, letting the madness in. Just rocks. Just more granite. Her voice kept me tethered to the earth. Finally, the trees, the living world, peeling bark, smelling the cedar, a fire so small, but it felt like the center of the universe, the smell of burning wool, the smell of staying alive. The whiteout came for us in the night, digging into the roots of a fallen pine, hiding from the sky, a blue world inside the cave, silent as a grave. We were the only warmth left in the world. I felt my heart slowing. It was so easy to just stop. She slapped me. She wouldn't let me leave her. Move your fingers, Jack. She forced the life back into me. The storm buried us alive, punching through the crust into the morning light. A highway of ice. The river. Every step sounded like a heavy, rhythmic thud. My boot gave up. I tied it back together with my wedding tie. A sign. Someone had been here once. We cried, but the tears turned to ice on our cheeks. The river spoke. A deep, tectonic groan. The ice gave way. The water was a shock of pure, freezing fire. She grabbed my collar. She had a strength she shouldn't have had. We rolled onto the bank, panting for a life we almost lost. My leg was turning blue, the stage of no return. I looked at the last flare. Then I heard it, the rhythmic thumping of rotors, a shadow in the trees. Search and rescue. I tried to run, but I tripped. I fell one last time. The helicopter was moving away. I fumbled in the sled, desperate and blind. I found the gun. I aimed at the sky. The last chance. A brilliant green streak cutting through the dark pine branches. The rotors tilted. They turned toward us. A spotlight turned the snow into a dance of diamonds. He looked like an alien coming down on a wire through the mist, boots hitting the ground. The most beautiful sound I've ever heard. A gloved hand reaching out. Got you. I pointed to her first. I'll always point to her first. Always, Elena.